Have you ever found yourself in a conversation and suddenly there's just a moment of quiet? That awkward pause. You know the one. For some of us, that brief silence feels like an eternity, a heavy, uncomfortable void that absolutely must be filled. You might find yourself scrambling for words, any words just to break the tension. Why do we dread this so much? Why does our brain, in those fleeting seconds, scream at us to speak, even if we have nothing profound to say? The answer lies deep in our psychological wiring, and it's far more fascinating than you think. You see, this isn't just about being socially awkward. There's a powerful, almost primal reflex at play, a conditioned response that makes us perceive silence not as a break, but as a genuine social failure. And I'm going to explain exactly how this happens and what you can do about it. Here's the thing, our brains are constantly working to predict and interpret social cues. When we're in a conversation, our mind is anticipating the flow, the back and forth, the rhythm of interaction. A sudden silence, a break in that expected rhythm, can trigger an alarm. It's like a tiny glitch in the social matrix, and our brain, in its infinite wisdom, interprets this glitch as a potential threat. Think about it. A smooth conversation signals connection, rapport, and mutual understanding. But silence? Historically, that could mean anything from disapproval, disinterest, or even a breakdown in communication. Our ancestors, they relied heavily on clear, consistent communication for survival within their tribes. So some hush might have signaled danger or rejection. That ancient instinct, believe it or not, still lingers within us. Now, let's talk about this conditioned speech reflex. It's the need, almost an irresistible urge, to fill every quiet moment in a conversation. Our brain has been trained, over years of social interaction, to equate continuous speech with engagement and positive social feedback. When that speech stops, a little part of our brain, often unconsciously, sends out a distress signal. It's like a tiny panic button being pressed, telling us, engage, re-engage, don't let the connection die. This isn't just a theory. Studies have shown that moments of silence can actually elevate our stress levels. It's a genuine physiological response to what our brain perceives as a social breakdown. So what happens when that alarm goes off? We start reaching for verbal filler, those ums, us, likes, that creep into our speech. They're not just bad habits. They're desperate attempts by our brain to bridge the gap, to maintain some semblance of engagement while we formulate our next coherent thought. It's a verbal safety net. It's our brain trying to keep the conversation buoyant, even if it means sacrificing a bit of eloquence. And honestly, we've all been there. You're talking to someone, and the moment a pause looms, you just blurt out something, anything, just to keep the ball rolling. It's a fascinating, almost comical dance we perform, driven by this deep-seated fear of the quiet. But here's the wild part. Sometimes the other person isn't even bothered by the silence. In fact, for many, a well-placed pause can be incredibly powerful. It allows for reflection, for deeper thought, for the other person to truly process what's been said. It can even build anticipation for what comes next. Yet our conditioned reflex often overrides this potential for meaningful quiet. We're so busy fighting the perceived awkwardness that we miss the opportunity for genuine connection and understanding that a calm pause can offer. It's a paradox, isn't it? Our attempt to maintain connection by filling silence might actually prevent deeper connection by avoiding necessary reflection. The fear of silence, in essence, creates the very discomfort we're trying to avoid. What if we could reprogram that reflex? What if we could learn to see silence not as a social failure, but as an opportunity? The key, I think, starts with awareness. Just understanding that this isn't just you being weird or bad at conversation, but a deeply ingrained psychological pattern can be incredibly liberating. The next time you feel that urge to fill a silence, try taking a tiny breath. Observe the feeling. Ask yourself, is this truly awkward, or is my brain just sounding an old alarm? You might find that the silence isn't as menacing as your brain makes it out to be. Embracing silence, even for just a few extra seconds, can transform your conversations. It gives you space to think, to choose your words more carefully. It gives the other person space to contribute more meaningfully. It signals confidence, a comfort in your own presence, and a respect for the other person's thoughts. It moves conversations from a frantic exchange of words to a more thoughtful, deliberate, and ultimately, more enriching experience. So the next time that dreaded pause arrives, remember, it's not a social failure. It might just be an invitation to a deeper, more human connection. It's a chance to rewrite that old, noisy script in your head.